Well, hello again, once again, ladies and gentlemen, from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us on VirtualRacing.Network as we bring you round 4 of 10 of the Prime Meridian Racing League. It's the Indianapolis Oval. We're going to have a lot more than 48 laps. That graphic is obviously not accurate there. We're just about to head into the race. Kind of caught us a little off guard this week. Totally different format as far as the qualifying order. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to broadcast the qualifying. However, good news is we're going to get lots of laps of a race. So as we can see here on screen, Jesper Orman, your pole sitter for today's race. And Magnus Anderson starting second, Sam Blackwood starting third, Matthew Levine fourth, Taylor Mills fifth, Mark Hutchinson sixth, David Soranzo starting seventh, Will Lyon eighth, Andreas Eick ninth, Alex Salmon 10th, Michael Grossberger in 11th. I believe we have the spelling not quite correct there. We'll try to correct that before the end of the race. Connor Pearson 12th, Thomas Claessens in 13th, Simon Maltby, in 14th. As you can see, Denit and Johnston, Bars, Marchand rounding out the order there. Pace car lights are off, so we get set to go on this next round by. Here's the rest of your starting order. Cadmore, Christensen, Lee, Miller, Godso, and of course, Jessica's not participating today. She's one of the administrators. So we get ready to go here, just in time for green flag action. Jesper Orman will be leading us to the field, or will be leading us to the green flag. Magnus Anderson starting second. We'll get a chance to take a look at the driver points, team standings, and the schedule coming up very shortly as we wait for the pace car to peel off. There they go. And we watch the field head down towards the start-finish line, and it's Jesper Orman with the lead into turn one. Magnus Anderson and Sam Blackwood fighting it out a little bit further back, with Anderson first into the corner, Blackwood filing into second. And Mills in fourth, looking a little bit crazier back here as we can see Will Lyon now making a move, go up the inside, pulls back in, and now David Soranzo tries to make a move down the inside of Will Lyon, but can't do it. It's going to be a little tricky today to get the passing done. These cars little tricky in the draft with the arrow push. Delara IR18 IndyCar, little tricky. So these drivers going to have to bide their time and wait for their opportunity to get a pass done. Just not quite enough downforce to overcome that push. So it adds a whole new level of interest and see if we can get the correct order there. All right. Magnus Anderson there in second place. Jesper Orman holding down the lead. Sam Blackwood in third. As we get onto our third lap of the race, you see Blackwood getting quite a run heading into turn one. Take a look from Mills' point of view. Blackwood with the fastest lap last time by, a 41.12. Looks like everybody just kind of setting in and getting ready for a long race. Very likely we'll be having possible cautions today with 100 laps to go, or with 97 more laps to go. So definitely a chance for the field to group back up as we see this battle starting to get a little closer up here in the front. Watching as looks like Mills and Blackwood starting to get a little shuffled up. Mills down the inside into three, can't hold it. So Mills backs out a bit. Looks like it's still getting very, very close. I think all these drivers very happy to stay in position. Wait it out for a bit. As I mentioned, just wait for your opportunity. Wait for the driver in front. Maybe have some tire degradation problems. Maybe make a mistake with their weight jacker, or perhaps with their anti-roll bar adjustments. We're seeing a couple of drivers still on the track, but having a little bit of issue. So far, pretty calm out there, actually. I've been expecting some notes to start popping up on my screen, but really, we'll just take a look through the order so we can see Sam Blackwood here in third. Taylor Mills running a solid fourth, up a position. Matthew Levine in fifth, down a spot. We see Mark Hutchinson here just in front of Will Lyon, who has climbed a spot already, and Will leading Andreas Eick forward past David Soranzo. Soranzo now down 2 positions, and it looks like the struggle perhaps continuing for Soranzo here as Alex Salmon now looking for a way by. And we can see just behind that, it's Connor Pearson getting his nose in front. Thomas Klessens as he falls back. Klessens and Pearson up a position so far. Michael Grossberger, again, we'll get that spelling correct. Grossberger there in 13th, down 2 spots. And Simon Maltby holding tough in 14th spot. Here's Mark Johnston up a spot today, and Loic Marchand also up a spot, actually up 2 spots. Thomas Christensen up 3 spots for the Three Crowns Racing with AIR, and Loic Marchand. Yellow. There's the crash.
Thanks, Mark.
We saw it just on screen.
Sorry, buddy, you hit me just before and sent me onto the apron, and it just bounced up into you. My apologies.
We'll let some of this driver radio play out during the race.
I did think the move was done.
Apologies for that. And there we're back. So already we had a crash, and here we'll take a look. We'll go back. We had a crash with Simon Maltby also. So this was right after Loic Marchand crashed. See if we can tell. There we're not quite on Maltby. Let's see if we can get to that before the crash. There, my software just doesn't want to participate. So there's on board with Maltby. So it looks like another driver. I'm not sure who that was, but they drifted up. And poor Maltby was the unfortunate victim there. See if we can tell. So Maltby is out, unfortunately, as well as Loic Marchand. Loic Marchand finding themselves getting going again. So no harm, no terrible foul there. Let's see here. It looks like probably going to stay on the lead lap, so that's great. Maltby, however, stuck in the pits and will not. So we see a number of drivers now in the pits. David Soranzo, Andreas Eick, Thomas DeKnight, Bennett Bars, Thomas Christensen gets rolling again, Philip Lee, Tim Miller, and Gary Godso all making pit stops that time around. So here you can see, should change that to the lap. So as we circle around here, you'll see these are the drivers on screen, I believe, who have not pitted. So as we get back around, we'll get a chance to see who has pitted already, and that will become a major factor as we go forward, always is. Pit strategy, super crucial, as well as anytime that you can take tires while your opponents can't. It's always perfect strategy. So Jesper Orman here in first, no problems whatsoever, and led from pole position. It's kept it completely clean. Magnus Anderson. Too many similar name people. But Magnus doing a fantastic job. And holding on to second, Sam Blackwood in third. Taylor Mills running in fourth place at the moment. Matthew Levine in fifth. These drivers all choosing not to pit, all the way down to 13th place. Mark Cadmore, your last driver who has not yet pitted. So go back up, take a look at Jesper Orman, and this appear the lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going green this time by. So while we have just a moment, why don't we go ahead and take a look at current points on your screen. That's how they ran coming into today's race. Alex Salmon still your leader despite that difficult race last week at Road America. Philip Lee gaining a couple of spots. Just as we predicted, George Whitehouse now in third, moving back a spot. Will Lyon claiming fourth place, so up a couple of spots as well. It's good to track with as your favorite driver or your teammate starts going up and down in the order. I believe that Christian Malkarek, he mentioned to us in team chat that he would not be in today's race, so you can scratch him from today's order. But this driver, Jesper Orman, one of the frequent top runners in Indy Road and other leagues, leads us back to the green flag on lap 12. And so now we have an effective split strategy going on in the field with the top 13 not having pitted. Got Will Lyon now diving to the inside. He and Mark Hutchinson deep in battle there for fifth place. See if Will can hang on to that spot. As I just mentioned, Will up into fourth. So new this week, you will of course notice that we've updated some of the driver information. We're working our way through being able to bring you all great information so you can get to know these drivers and some of their accomplishments. This heavily international field, many different countries represented. And so it's just great that iRacing can bring this together. Of course, all of these drivers not actually on the racetrack, all completely separated as sim racing works, by hundreds, if not thousands of miles apart. And yet, through the magic of the internet, we can have an international Indy 500. It's really a special thing to have at a special track. 13 laps, now 14. We're working on for Jesper Orman with Magnus Anderson right on his tail. You couldn't ask for more, folks. 4 cars covered by just 0.3 of a second. You blink and you miss them. So Orman, Anderson, Blackwood, and Mills. Now we've got about a 10 or 12 car train for first. Hope to see who decides to make the first move. That time by Will Lyons setting the fastest lap of the race, a 40.75 in the draft. So there's really only two strategies if you feel like you have the pace to run up front. Either run up the very front and get that clean air, be able to dictate what you want to do for the race and how you want to be able to position your car through the corners. You have full control by being up in the clean air. There we see some cars getting very close to the wall off of turn 2. Just see this amazing train of cars. It's quite astounding to watch these cars running so closely together, and yet nobody deciding to pull out and make a move could ruin the whole drafting. But the other option is, of course, to sit 2, 3, 4, 5, as many car lengths deep as you happen to find yourself. So a lot of times you don't really have an option there. You just got to do like you can do. We see this really getting tight, this battle up front between Orman, Anderson, and Blackwood. So just taking a look all the way through the field. Not really seeing... Oh, we're seeing that Simon Maltby perhaps having another wreck. And there you see it on your screen. Maltby gets loose. And also we have a note that Gary Godso has had another wreck as well. Or has had a wreck. So I don't know if we got that quite early enough. See if we can back it up and check and see what got... Oh, it was Godso. There you see on the inside of Maltby. Maltby not seeing him. And Godso going high into what I believe was turn 2. Perhaps that was turn 1. Yes, turn 1. So that will effectively hurt and or injure both of their days, if not completely take them out. That Maltby having the earlier issue. But now we go back to the live picture. And, of course, just as we were checking out that replay, would you believe it? Let's go back, see a replay of it. It was Magnus Anderson. We watched him for 13, 14 laps, but went to watch a replay. And there Anderson slams it down the inside. Beautiful pass into turn 1. So just as I was mentioning it, perhaps Anderson deciding that it was time to make the move and go to the front. As I mentioned, now here Orman taking another look. But as I mentioned, that's really the decision to make. Do I make a lunge for the lead and try and get the clean air? It's better for my tires in the long run. It's better for the simplicity of my driving. But just as we talk about that, you can't do anything about it. When Jesper Orman decides it's time to push through, then he does. So Orman back up into the lead here on lap 19. And there, Anderson again, making his lunge down the inside. So these drivers duking it out, so to speak. Not sure if they're just swap drafting at this point, or if they honestly want the lead from each other. They, of course, don't really have to tell me. And once again, here comes Anderson back down the inside. So it's starting to look like... It's definitely starting to look like a... swap draft a little bit more so, but you really can't tell. These drivers from not very far away from each other. Possible they are working together, but now looking a little less likely as Jesper Orman pulls out a little bit of a gap. So as we watch this incredible battle up here, we've got the top 5 drivers separated by just a second. We've got all the way back to 20th place separated by just under 8 seconds. So this is truly anybody's race here. Anything can happen. Anderson makes it just enough of a gap. He's recovered just enough that he can hold it there, as we see Blackwood going a little low. That is a normal racing line, but we haven't been seeing everybody going that low below the white line. Blackwood liking to run below that white line. Feeling very secure in the car. And Mills up a position today so far. As we see, Anderson is now charged back to the lead. And there you can see Mills. Oh, and Mills has contact. Multiple cars diving around. We've got Matthew Levine sitting in the middle of the corner, finally able to get back underway. Looks like Levine won't have an issue, but we go back, take a look, and it looks like Mills still fighting with Mark Hutchinson, so Mills didn't lose much, but that was quite a moment for Mills. We'll have to see whether the stewards have anything to say about that, but back to it. Got Mills on the outside and settles in front of Mark Hutchinson. We'll see if Mills can get his way back up into fourth, but we take a look back up front. So this is definitely, with that little incident, you can see how much it's broken apart the field, and this may actually set a whole, especially if we don't go to a caution between now and the end of the race, this may be the gap possibly that these three need to break away from the rest of the field. And now we can see Thomas Klessens coming into the pits. There is a yellow. We do have a note that Philip Lee has crashed. Let's see if we can go to that. There's Philip Lee getting tagged just as another driver hits the wall and comes down. Might have been Clausen's, no. Bars, cannot tell. Go take another look at that. There you see Lee sitting sideways. Doesn't look like anything's really broken, so he'll be able to continue. Nevertheless, that bringing out our yellow flag. And I have a note that Bennett Bars has jumped to the pits. So we have a crash from Bennett. We'll have to see as we follow along. Oh, there actually was Bennett, you could see, with damage. So let's see if we go a little bit further back. This looks like, oh, Bars just gets too low in the corner. Hits the curving, the white strip curbing, and that is, you can never do that. You can get away with it a little bit, a couple of times, if you just barely touch the edge, but you cannot hit that white curbing. Otherwise, that is exactly what will happen, especially well into a stint on tires that might be a little sketchy. So as we are, you know, this is going to really bring out an interesting situation regarding the pitting. This top group is going to have to pit, and that will allow most likely David Soranzo to take over the lead as we watch everybody coming into the pits. Most of your top group, everybody down to 11th, I believe, even Soranzo now coming in. So Andreas Eick will continue. He will take over the lead and get a bonus point. So Eick now getting to the lead as we see your leaders, Magnussen and Orman, pulling in. Now, who will decide? Perhaps short fill. There we have somebody having an issue just behind, getting into their pit box. That was Sam Blackwood. And did Magnus Anderson beat Orman off of pit road? Tough to tell. We'll see whether or not he has to give it back, but Anderson possibly with a slightly better hit there. So if we take a look at the pit lane time, Anderson with just a slightly, actually Orman with a slightly better time on pit road. However, we look at the pit stop time, just a little bit longer for Orman. And in either case, both of these drivers now resuming in 4th and 5th, so very much not a penalty for them to have to pit again. Coming right back out, nearly the lead. But Andreas Eich is your new leader, who, of course, as you see there on the screen, pitted on lap 9, as well as Thomas Christensen, shown in 2nd, and also see the 16 car of Simon Maltby. He'll get a wave around, so he'll get one of his laps back, but is currently about 9 laps off the pace. So, but Andreas Eich is effectively in the lead. And Thomas Christensen 2nd, Thomas Klessens 3rd. So what this will do for those who haven't pitted, which is again just 2 drivers, because Thomas Klessens up 10 positions, actually he did pit on lap 24 just before the yellow came out. So this worked amazingly well for Klessens. And so now what we're looking at is essentially he's on, the same strategy as everybody below him. So this is a legit strategy by Thomas Klessens. He's gained 10 places to be where he is at. As you can see there on screen, the number 7. Running for teams for the Spirit Box there. Beautiful liveries supplied by the racers and their teams. So again, if you're a racer and you're not part of the series, look up the PMRL. You can contact them via Facebook. Via Discord, or you can contact them via iRacing. And also over on Twitter. So we'll be bringing you a lot more information as far as the series and the drivers as we go forward with this great new league that started up this season. But we're set for our first ever Indy race as we go back to green. Lap 28 and Andreas Eich, now your leader. Thomas Christensen in 2nd. Now these two will have substantially lighter fuel loads. As you can see, some real issues with some of the drivers getting up to speed. We were so focused on the top 3 there that there you can see, is that Alex, one of the drivers pulling off there to let the others go by. Very appreciated, I'm sure. And here you can see Orman with Anderson drifting up high. Once again, not really sure. There we've got Orman back to the lead of this group. But again, I don't know if they understand that Klessens, who is now well up the track, 2 full seconds up the track. I don't know if we can show that much on the screen. We'll even try it. But Klessens, way off the back of this group, is Jesper Orman now 2 seconds back. So we'll watch that gap, but it's now grown to 2.2 seconds. So we'll see, as we can see Christensen trying to make a move around Eich. And he does, makes it pass. So Eich now working back on Christensen. Christensen with the Three Crowns Racing team, same as Jesper Orman. We'll take a look at those team standings here in just a minute. As we get a little bit settled down and we get to our next yellow, we'll check that out. But here you can see Christensen up into the lead again. It's like these two... Now, these two do know each other, that's for sure. These two have raced against each other many times. I've had a chance to race against them as well. And I'll just say that you always see them up at the front, and they are always that much faster than you. It's a lucky day when you're faster than either one of these two drivers. But let us not forget who's running in third. Now, Christensen is up 18 spots. What he would need is he would need a yellow to come out just at the right time, somewhere well into this stint, in order for everybody to have to come in, and then he would, essentially he and Ike would be back on the main strategy, and or would need the pit strategy to just ultimately end up working out in their direction as opposed to everyone else's pit strategy. But generally speaking, these two are going to swap draft, but for the most part, it won't matter unless it works out miraculously for them because they're so far off pit strategy. However, Thomas Klessens, as I mentioned, for Team Spirit Box, running in third, actually in a very advantageous position, pitting just before the yellow came out. Therefore, right now, there's another yellow. We're looking to see what happened. It's Taylor Mills. Taylor Mills loses it off the corner. Comes around on him, heads down towards the inside, and unfortunately clips another racer there. See if we can go on board. It's moments after the wreck. There, unfortunately, one of the drivers coming along and clipping Taylor. So we go back to our live picture. We can see that Loic Marchand is in the pits as well as Taylor Mills. And so now what this will do, this will give Christensen and Ike a chance to kind of reset, say, okay, we're going to go ahead and pit and take our tires and our fuel. We'll be a little bit better off than everyone else is. So they'll be in a little bit of an advantageous position. They will have to drop to the back of the field. It's either that or gamble. And since their last lap was on lap 9, and it's lap 33, I'm thinking that's a bit of too much of a gamble. So we'll keep an eye on that. We already saw the points for, and there you can see they actually fake. Christensen faking to the inside that he would come in. But let's see if we can get the current team standings up on the screen. So there you see TM Racing in first, Team Spirit Box in second, SMS Racing is up a position with Wyvern Racing and O'Connor Moore, slow and steady NSH. And then Spark LLM, of course, is going to fall back a little bit because Christian Muckrek, only driver in the field for LLM. Three Crowns Racing with IAR, we're going to see them gain over time, I'm sure. Team Talent for Andreas Ike, currently in 9th. RLR Abruzzi Sports, Paceworks Esports. You can see the rest of the teams competing in the championship, gaining points there, so we'll keep an eye on that as it goes forward. Not every team competing with the same number of drivers, of course. So, as we work under caution, it's lap 30. We're on lap 35 that we're working right now. And I'd just like to tell you again, my name is Trevor Greenfield, and You're watching VirtualRacing.Network. We had a bit of a different format this morning for qualifying. Completely caught us unaware of the sped up process. Normally there's 30 minutes of qualifying for the series before a 5-minute warm-up. This time we're just doing the couple of laps of solo qualifying. So we'll get that right for next week, we promise. We missed qualifying, but nevertheless, the action's in the race here. As you can see, Thomas Christensen and Andreas Eick still not having pitted since lap 9. And, of course, we take also a time to check over in YouTube. And we can see we've got quite a lot joining us, well over a dozen joining us at the moment. Appreciate it. And talking that the number 33, excuse me, with an easy win. Well, perhaps, I guess anybody's in this race still. I mean, the yellow flag bringing everybody back together, and now strategy being so much closer. Mark Hutchinson may have a chance. He's currently in the 9th position, has lost 3 spots on the day, but appreciate you coming over, James, and rooting on your friends. So Big Red saying Battle of the Swedes, go Magnus. And yeah, unfortunately, Philip had an incident earlier, and so that's unfortunate. So let us know how we're doing over in the channel, and of course, make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. We converted it over so that only subscribers can chat in the channel, so you got to make sure you do that. And of course, we will set this video to be able to be embedded after the race, but for the moment, you need to watch it over on our YouTube channel and let us know who you're rooting for. So like the video, please, and subscribe for more. We're going to keep getting better and better each week, working with the PMRL admin team and just continuing to grow. We also appreciate all of the drivers taking the time out to fill out our driver information. If you don't know where that is, it's in the PMRL Discord. Helps us out to get to know you better. We'll be able to bring more and more information over the coming weeks. So we watch from Andreas Eick's point of view right ahead. It's Thomas Christensen leading us back to the green flag. No problems with those two. Looks like a little bit of a gap as Klessen's separated a bit on the start, and we have a yellow flag. It's Mark Cadmore having an issue. Here we go. If we can see there, you just see gets it loose on entry. I want to see if we're just going to back that up on screen. Someday I'll figure out how to do this properly, folks. But it's like watching a VHS and replay and rewind. There you can see just on entry, Cadmore, once again, it just got real loose. I'm wondering if there was an away jacker problem or something. And then, of course, once you get the yaw just a little wrong in these cars, you are just simply a passenger. Absolutely nowhere to go. Fortunately, it doesn't look like anyone else tangled. We see numerous drivers just sliding through. We do have a note that Cadmore has dropped back to the pits. So there you see no nose on the car. And Cadmore waits in the pits for damage to be fixed. So now we wait, and we have to imagine after 37, 38 laps that we'll be seeing Christensen and Eichen. Now, the real reason why you would think that they're going to come in is it's not that they probably can't squeeze out another 5 or 8 laps or take a chance on a yellow coming out. That's true. But if you're forced to make a green flag stop and no one else is, now you've got a real problem on your hands. I do see that Philip Lee, by the way, for the Philip Lee fan club, Philip Lee is back out and circulating. He's, in fact, it appears to me as though Philip is on the lead lap. So, actually, no worries there. Somehow Philip got his damage fixed and is back out. So we now see Klessen's taking over the lead, and take a look on pit road. There's Jesper Orman in his pit box. Maybe from the other side. There we go. And Orman does not get back out first. Appears to be Christensen who's out first. Andreas Eick second. Jesper Orman in third place off of pit road. David Soranzo in fourth. And Mark Johnston. Actually, Mark was not part of that pitting brigade. just ended up in the group of those who had already pitted. So a little bit of a reset. All right. So we've got Thomas Klessens now at the lead. So let's throw this up on the screen so we can check this out. Now, as you can see, all of these drivers, Anderson on back, pitted just 2 laps later for the most part. Now, when you get to here, which is Tim Miller pitted last on lap 34. So Tim on the lead lap, currently in the best position. And I believe it was Tim who clipped that other car. I'm not sure, but it might have been him. But either way, finding himself now in 11th behind Philip Lee. So Philip, in terms of pit strategy, in the most advantageous position, and everybody behind him for the most part having pitted on lap 38. So Thomas Christensen, Andreas Eick, Jesper Orman, David Soranzo in on lap 38. So it's Klessens has a 2-lap disadvantage on his fuel strategy. And then you're looking at pretty much Anderson all the way back through 9th place Levine, all on exactly the same fuel and presumably pit strategy. One would think that they all took 4 tires. So hopefully that resets things for you. We get ready to resume green flag racing. So the pace lights are off the car and we head down the back stretch. We wait for the pace car to make their way off of the track. I can just tell you that these yellows, if there's many of them, get to be quite excruciating. I know it's hard to watch from a fan's point of view. It really is. It's usually time to go hit the fridge for another preferred beverage or the restroom. But as a racer as well, it can be quite annoying to have to sit through multiple laps of yellow flag. But nevertheless, gotta do what they say and pull down the belts tight one more time. As we come to the green flag for a little NASCAR-ism there, little Benny Parsons NASCAR-ism. Will Lyon having a great run now in 3rd position, ahead of Connor Pearson and Alex Salmon. Your leader at the moment, Thomas Klessens, who, as we mentioned a little while ago, having a great strategy, really finding himself at the fortuitous right place at the right time. Will Lyon really looking racy, as well as Connor Pearson. These two now jockeying for 3rd and 4th. Got to note that Soranzo and Orman are also deep in a battle for 14th place. As we watch this on screen, Lyon down to the inside for 2nd, bringing Connor Pearson in tow. Pearson now staying to the inside through the short chute. Now we've got a 3-way battle for position as Pearson starting to struggle. Salmon now going to the outside and past. Got Mark Hutchinson now approaching from the rear. Pearson struggling a tiny bit after trying to follow Will Lyon through to 2nd. But we look back up front. You can see Lyon now approaching Klessens. Perhaps Lyon realizing that this is maybe his best opportunity to get a bonus point for leading, because neither Anderson nor Orman are at the front at the moment. And of course, those bonus points being given away for leading the most laps. So we can see this huge battle happening for third. This is Connor Pearson on the outside in the red car, and in the blue, it's Alex Salmon now pulling back in the TMR car. Deciding discretion is the better part of valor. I did hear what sounded like a scrape against the wall. We didn't quite catch it on the screen. So now Pearson, having recovered, starts to size back up Will Lyon and Thomas Klessens for the lead. A huge draft coming into turn 3. With a note that Simon Maltby has come back into the pits again. And perhaps Tim Miller having an issue dropping down the order. What's going on with Miller? I think we had a moment ago, must have had some problem with Tim Miller, perhaps not quite so slow and steady on the lap just a moment ago. But back up front, Will Lyon make a move? Is the question. Apologies for the pun, just happened sort of naturally. Will make a move is the question, as he looks to be sitting behind a la Jesper Orman and Magnus Anderson earlier, biding their time. And just as we say that, it's the Connor Pearson freight train into turn 1. And he can't do it. It's Klessens back out to the lead. Try to give you that view from on board, let you see what it's like somewhat from the racer's point of view. We don't want to go to the cockpit mode. That, of course, gives away a little bit too much info on the screen. Try to protect these drivers' strategy a little bit, even though we do have access to it. So this is a heck of a battle for first place, as we've got these drivers just coming up towards the halfway mark, and it's Connor Pearson to the lead. He'll get credit for leading that lap. Thomas Klessens back to second, and Will Lyon in third. Alex Salmon bringing up fourth, and then Mark Hutchinson has made his way into fifth. So Pearson there you see from Peterborough, already having gotten credit for leading a lap. We'll get that point. As I mentioned, they all add up at the end of the season. Bonus point for leading a lap, leading the most laps, getting pole position, all of them very important. So we see a driver peeling off to the pits there. That's Taylor Mills entering the pits. And Will Lyon down to the inside in turn 2. Can't pull it off, slots back in behind. So out of turn 2, it's Connor Pearson, Thomas Klessens, Will Lyon, Alex Salmon, and Mark Hutchinson, your top 5. As Lyon makes a charge into 3 again. Struggling to hold it there. I don't think he'll be able to hold it on exit either. One of those passes you're going to have to just make on the straight, I think. Here comes Lyon by again, trying it into 3. Holds it down low as they go through 2. Will he drift up high? No, he holds it, but he can't make the pass stick. So Klessens holding on to second. Quite a battle erupting here in the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round 4 of the season 1 for the PMRL. And I'll tell you what, if the rest of the races and the rest of the season is this good, we got something to watch as we see a new leader, Will Ryan, up to the front, straight past Connor Pearson. He finally made that draft work as we see a driver exiting the pits on the low side. Some of the drivers, including Pearson, using that draft to his advantage, and Pearson flies by into the lead. Driver going low and forcing a couple of drivers to go up high around him. That was Taylor Mills again coming back out. You know, he doesn't have any choice. He could... Oh, and then we see a driver in the back having issues. It's Michael Grossberger. Michael Grossberger and Matthew Levine tangled forever, entwined in their moment together here at Indianapolis. Well, we can see Levine with some major damage. Grossberger also terrible damage. So we'll go back and see if we can figure out what happened. Take a look at these two. Now, these two are very close together. I wonder whether they have anything to say to each other. Perhaps they do. Appear to be pacing each other. So, but we'll see if we can go back and find that. There you see them splitting two cars on the track. So this was as these two were... Okay, now here we go. This is heading into turn 3. The two drivers side by side here have to check up a little bit because of the draft, and there it, to me, we'll go back and watch that again. We'll just back it up on the screen. We'll take a look as they exit. See if we can go to our overhead shot, thanks to our favorite helicopter in the sky. So we see the two drivers there in the middle of the screen. And there you see Levine on the inside. Just, I think Levine just maybe coming up a little bit too high, and that catching Grossberger. Grossberger didn't really look like he did anything wrong. Let's perhaps back that up just one more time so we can see coming off the corner. And again, we're super close racing at over 200 miles an hour. Some things like this are going to happen, but it looks like drifts up the track. Grossberger on the outside, the TDR blue, white, and black car, just not really anywhere to go. Just kind of stuck there, and of course the two cars side by side. So now he's on pit road, and as we can see, Thomas Christensen inheriting the lead. We do see a couple of lap cars in front. So Christensen, as I mentioned, scored in the lead, and these other two cars will get a wave around. Second place at the moment, Andreas Eick. So again, we're getting this reversal as many cars have actually pitted now, lap 52. So we're getting a split strategy here with Christensen, Eick now in second, Jesper Orman in third, David Soranzo now shown in fourth place. So Soranzo up 3 spots. If Christensen were to finish where he is at, he'd be up 19 spots today. Quite an amazing run that he's having. And Ike, not such a bad job either. 7 spots gained. But you go back to David Soranzo, up 3 spots. And then Tim Miller, who's had some very fortunate moments, but he's currently one of the least advantaged pit stoppers in the field, last stopping on lap 34. So the American is going to have some work to do, or really hope that some miracles happen in order to be able to stay up there in the points. Will Lyon and Connor Pearson, who had just been having such an amazing battle for the lead, now finding themselves in 6th and 7th. Alex Salmon currently in 8th, Mark Hutchinson in 9th, and Sam Blackwood in 10th. So these drivers, let's see, the first of the stoppers, if we can get this up on screen. And there you go. A little bit more of a visual reinforcement of the of what I was telling you. It gets a little complicated with all these pit stops and the yellows, etc., but you can see where the top 10 has last stopped. So, of that list, you see there Lyon, Pearson, and Salmon coming in most recently. So, Will Lyon, Pearson, and Salmon in the most advantageous group of pit stoppers, but again, we'll find out. We'll definitely find out as it goes along. Lights are out on the pace car. So, you know, at the end of this one, I'm just saying, you know, you just want to stay out of the wall. You don't want to end up in a wreck or anything. Really, that's the preferred racing strategy here as it continues to just get jumbled up. But you can believe that now that we've gone over halfway, all these drivers and their teams, if they have strategists working with them, they're going to be recalculating their fuel strategy going forward. So we get set to go here, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thomas Christensen about to lead us down to the green flag again. You can hear the revs come up as the pace car comes off. Christensen accelerates. Green again here on lap 54. Andreas Eich in 2nd and Jesper Orman in 3rd. There you see Orman diving a little bit below the white line. As I mentioned, some drivers really liking to go below the white line, some not. Take a look back a little bit further back. We've got some action happening. These drivers just having pitted, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Sorry to keep flipping around there. But we go back to the front. Andreas Eich now moves into the lead. So it's been a while, but Eich getting back out front. And we see Christensen saying, not so fast. Not so fast. Pretty classic duel. Interesting to see the ages. I feel great that so many drivers willing to put their age up there. You can see how wonderful it is to see those at the youngest side of the sport and at the older side of the sport being able to work together and be on track and compete just as you would in a real life IndyCar. Definitely Andreas Eich would be able to be a rookie in the IndyCar series at this point. Thomas Christensen, sort of be your grizzled veteran with his age, but still it'd be like Montoya or Castro Neves, one of the drivers that's been around for quite a long time. Maybe not quite that old. Not trying to put you there yet in that category, Thomas, but some of those drivers that have been around for a while. And you get to stay fresh because you got drivers like Andreas Eich and some of the others that are very young in this field being able to keep you fresh, and they're always showing you how to go faster on these tracks. So older drivers needing to pull out every trick they can. Okay, off of the age debate there as we watch this exciting battle for the lead. Christensen, Eich, and Orman, your top three. Eich going down the inside, down the backstretch, heading up into 3. Notably absent from this battle, who was up there earlier, Magnus Andersson. So Andersson, take a look a little bit further back, he's now finding himself in 11th. He opted to come in on the latest pit stop for the caution, and so now he's part of that group that is now going to be able to take over the lead as a group should this stay green. But we'll have to see again, as far as the laps go, how this will all shake out, whether everybody will do it on just one more stop, whether it will be advantageous to take 2 stops. We'll have to see. But up front, it's Andreas Ike and Christensen swapping the lead multiple times over. Jesper Orman kind of sitting behind, just sort of observing what's going to happen between these two, probably feeling very comfortable. As I mentioned, these 3 racing together on many occasions. If you're fortunate enough to get to race against them in a fixed race or in a open race, it is always a pleasure. They're very good at racing and very clean as well. And you see Orman having to pull back behind his countryman Thomas Christensen there. So these two continuing to swap the draft, willingly or not. And it's Christensen leading Ike and Orman in 3rd. If you look a little bit further back at these battles, David Soranzo in 4th, up 3 spots. Tim Miller, as we mentioned, last stopping on lap 34, so it's really going to have to hope to get an advantageous caution that he can come in on. Will Lyon up into 6th, up 2 spots, so he'll be happy with that. Unfortunately, he probably won't be happy to see the Red Rocket Connor Pearson here right behind, because Connor has been absolutely scorchingly fast, as has Will Lyon, and as they continue to work their way through the field back up to the front, these two definitely ones to watch for. So close entering the corner. You have to have so much precision. So you see Pearson needing to take a little bit off there. We look back at Pearson going through turn 1. Love a shot like this. Put you right down on the ground. You can really see what's going on. Taylor Mills has, in fact, come into the pit, so pitting out of 15th place, I have the note. Although, I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. To catch up on that here in 1 second. And so there, yes, Taylor Mills falling out of... Actually, I had my TMs crossed up. Not Taylor Mills, Tim Miller still running in 5th. Many TMs. But it is Connor Pearson and Will Lyon. Connor having gotten around there. So Will drifting back. These two plotting and planning how they will strategize to get their way up to the front. They're not very far back now. Let's see if we take a look on board. You can still see the front. There you see right up front, looks like it's 3 wide, so we'll move up into that battle. Or at least 2 wide it was going into 1. See David Soranzo, the Frenchman, in 4th. As I mentioned, kind of just observing. I mean, from my standpoint, when I see people racing 2 wide up in front, I'm definitely not going to try to make it 3 wide. I usually give them time to try to sort out their business before I go pushing my way up there. But look at this huge draft as Soranzo into turn 1 has to back out a little bit. Could have sent it. Could have done a little yeeting into turn 1, but chose not to. Backed out of it. So this battle for first continues to rage. Ike, Christensen, and Orman all running together. Probably all on the same Discord chat channel, laughing it up about running together at the front of this thing. But I'll tell you what, some other drivers have something to say about it. David Soranzo coming up. Tim Miller still there. Hasn't pitted for a while. We have a note that Mark Johnson is now in the pits. So I think Taylor Mills may be parked in the pits. Just has not moved, has not resumed the race. So that may be potentially terminal for Taylor Mills. I have a note that 16 of us joining in the YouTube channel. Appreciate it. 17. Appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, so we can see Tim is in Indiana, you bet. So Tim's hometown is the entire state of Indiana. Well, you know, it's kind of that way when you're, I guess, when you're from Indiana. Your whole hometown is Indiana. So either way, we're giving the drivers the option to list whatever they'd like as their hometown. It's kind of a confusing thing because the word hometown possibly means where you were born, but then it could also mean where you grew up. It could mean where you're from now. It's kind of an arbitrary term, so we let them call it how they want to be seen, where they're from on screen. But it's been a good one so far as we come up to 30 to go here at the legendary Indianapolis Speedway. This driver's doing 100 laps in action, 250 miles around the legendary Brickyard. It's been my absolute pleasure to call this one for you. My name's Trevor Greenfield, as always with you, the host and commentator on VirtualRacing.Network. You can just see this three-person, three-driver battle happening here. Now 4 and soon to be 5, 6, 7 drivers all up for the lead. It's exactly what we wanted to see for PMRL and to see here on the broadcast. We're so happy to have everybody just really bringing their A game today, and we hope you're enjoying it out there in YouTube land and beyond, watching this afterwards. Tight battle for the front. We do have a note that Mark Cadmore had another wreck. Let's see if we can go back and we'll see that. Oh, there, the car just barely rolling again. Perhaps take a look a little bit further back. Really struggling. And there it appears. Problem happening through turn 2, exiting. Rear end getting a bit loose, a big slam to the inside wall. Really hope he's okay. Conscious and alert in that vehicle. And so we go back to the live picture up at the front. It's Andreas Ike. Oh, and there we can see Thomas Christensen and Jesper Orman diving into the pits. I don't know if Christensen made it down to the speed limit. There was a big lockup there entering the pits. Either way, we'll have to see if he holds on pit lane for that speeding penalty. Christensen with Orman going past. We take a look down the pits. It's kind of a decisive moment. Orman still in. Trying to find a good view here, as it looks like Will Lyon will resume in second. In second place behind Jesper Orman, and Christensen is sitting in the pits, still waiting to serve that penalty so costly. Unfortunately for Thomas Christensen, a speeding penalty will absolutely destroy your race. It's exactly what we see there as Mark Hutchinson now leads a lap, getting that crucial bonus point. And Thomas Klessens now in second. So now we're starting to see the drivers forward that are that pitted last on lap 52, but Magnus Anderson, Andreas Ike, Orman, Salmon, and Soranzo, all of them pitting, as well as Pearson coming back out on lap 72. So a bit tricky to keep up with all this stuff. That's why we have our entire team of 1,000 people working for VirtualRacing.Network. It's 1,000 people, and they still can't give me good numbers, but that's okay. We love them just the same. Mark Hutchinson still in the lead, ahead of Thomas Klessens and Philip Lee in third. There's a name we haven't been calling much, but Philip Lee coming in on last on lap 52. Now, what we just saw was everybody diving in for their last stop for green flag action. So we see this battle at the front between Hutchinson and Klessens. So all the drivers who just came in, now good to go until the end. And that kind of will catch all of these drivers a bit out at the moment. So if a yellow flag were to come out, Matthew Levine, Mark Johnston, Alex Salmon, Thomas Christensen, Tom Dennett, and Mark Cadmore, all these drivers, Cadmore was already a couple of laps down. Those drivers would find themselves a lap down. So we see this huge lead, or this huge battle for the lead. 5 cars now. Philip Lee, Michael Grossberger. It's amazing that recovery that Grossberger has had. I can't even believe it. And Grossberger has crashed. We just missed that. What happened? Grossberger in the wall again. We'll just back it up on screen and take a look. This was Grossberger trying to get around Mark Johnston as they go 3 wide. Johnston stays in the middle, and it looked like Grossberger got the worst of it. As we back up here, we'll take a look one more time. You can see Grossberger on the outside, and that is exactly, he was on the outside previously when he got the worst of it. And Johnston kind of staying in the middle with another driver on the inside. I couldn't quite catch who that was. I believe Tom Dennett. But nevertheless, poor Michael Grossberger will end up back in the pits, and his day has been massively affected by this one. And I don't think he'll get a chance to possibly recover, having now already lost a lap and coming up on the better part of 2 laps. So for the Michael Grossberger fan club, we're sorry to say it didn't quite work out today. Got a couple of bad moments sent his way. But nevertheless, Hutchinson, Klessens, Lee, Orman, and Pearson, your top 5, as we see Hutchinson leading everyone in. This will effectively give Orman, Jesper Orman, the lead of the race, having last stopped on lap 71. So we'll pretty much get an entire we should get an entire reset of where we were before. All right. So once again, Jesper Orman in first, Connor Pearson second, David Soranzo third, and Will Lyon in fourth, with Andreas Ike in fifth. I mean, this is we're going to have about a 22-lap shootout for this win. And I think that is going to be absolutely exciting, as we've already seen so much 3 and 4 car battles for first that it really looks like it's going to be just about anybody's race from here on out. And some of the names I would definitely suggest looking for would be Will Lyon in 4th. He's shown that he has no fear, and currently 4th in the championship points, might want that 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. We also see Andreas Eick has been acquitting himself extremely well. Not usually known for being the most aggressive racer, which is interesting, because I remember a certain 17-year-old by the name of Max Verstappen, who was the most aggressive I've ever seen on iRacing. Of course, Lando Norris, when he was in iRacing a lot before he was in Formula One, was extremely aggressive. But there's so many great strategies that you can employ. Aggression a lot of times can lead to being taken out of races, or to you putting yourself in a dangerous position. And nevertheless, to find yourself with just 20-some laps to go, being in 5th place, that's exactly where you want to be on the right fuel strategy. You've got a lot to work with from that point. So Jesper Orman leads a 14-car lead lap train out of turn 2, as the pace car now has its lights off and will be going green this next time by. Telling me that YouTube not quite getting enough video, but we'll keep streaming on. So let us know if there's any glitches on the video side or the audio side, but it seems to still stay green in our broadcasting software, and that's the main thing we check on. So YouTube, oh, there it goes back to excellent connection. You never know. The world of the internet, live broadcasting, nothing but professionalism, right? Here we go, back to the lead and back to the main race, a 20-lap shootout for the win for round 4, season 1 of the PMRL. It's Jesper Orman leading us back to the green flag. Gets a bit of a jump on Pearson. Everybody sort of just filing right in line. You can see a little bit of shade over the track. Didn't really look at the weather. And there you can see Pearson diving down to the inside. Does Pearson want that lead? You bet. Connor Pearson straight to the lead. I think he possibly felt rightly that if he gave Jesper Orman too much time, Orman might get too settled into that lead. You can see Orman does not want to sit behind. Not happy with being in the draft. Perhaps also wanting to keep Pearson away from leading a lap. I don't know if Pearson managed to lead that lap. You can see David Soranzo now in 3rd. Is Pearson perhaps going to send it? Nope, decides not to. Follows very closely into turn 3. Orman looked like he might have gotten in a little shallow into 3, but manages to resume. Pearson down the inside. Takes the position. So move Pearson back up into the front, and all this is going to do is let some other drivers get back up into the mix. So we see Andreas Eick around the outside of Will Lyon. Lyon back to 5th, as these two up front continue to battle for the lead. It's Orman and Pearson, followed by Soranzo, Eick, and Lyon. Tim Miller, having pitted when he did, ending up on the same strategy. There you see him back there in the green and white 42 car. As Pearson makes his way into the lead, and Soranzo closes ever so closer to the back bumper of Jesper Orman. Looked like possibly Magnus Andersson getting a bit high in the corner just behind Tim Miller. These drivers now, with 18 laps to go, going to be starting to feel some sense of urgency to get forward. They're just behind. Hutchinson down into 3. Moving ahead of Thomas Klessens. And last time by, would you believe, is none other than this man in 11th place with the fastest lap overall, a 40.31 for Sam Blackwood. So Blackwood not really driving like an 11th place driver yet. That's where he finds himself at the moment. We'll see if he can use that speed to his advantage to climb back up. But it's Orman and Pearson for the lead, with Ike now into 3rd, having passed Soranzo. So we've got essentially a 4, possibly 5-car battle for the lead with 17 to go. As they head for the start-finish stripe, will it be Pearson or Orman? I think it was Pearson that time by. And there you see Ike to the outside of Soranzo. Soranzo drifts a little high, brings it back. Ike staying poised in 3rd. We'll have to see if and when he decides to make his move. These drivers all pretty much settling in here at the front. If you're not passing for the lead, it seems like you're content to sit behind. See Matthew Levine entering the pits now. So Levine in 14th. Your top 10, as we have 15 to go here, it's Pearson, Orman, Ike, Soranzo, Lyon, Miller, Anderson, Hutchinson, and Klessens. Then Philip Lee bringing up in 10th. But he's gained 11 positions today from where he started, so I'm sure Philip Lee will be actually quite happy with that. All the way back to 13th, still on the lead lap. 13th being Alex Salmon, your final runner on the lead lap. Actually, I take that back. Matthew Levine still shown on the lead lap, but I believe he's about to get lapped. So we see Pearson out in the lead, doing his best to hold it, but he knows it's a futile attempt because the draft is just a bit too strong. And for someone like Jesper Orman, who just seems to have a knack for the draft, well, as soon as he moves back into 2nd, it's Orman lining himself back up to get up into 1st. As I mentioned, it really depends on how you like your car to run. Some people really like sitting in traffic. They like managing the car in traffic. Some drivers really, really want that clean air. They want to dictate that. Now, of course, it does make a difference in your fuel strategy completely. But since fuel strategy is no longer a problem, these drivers are truly just jockeying for who is the fastest, who wants to win the race. You can just see these two swapping back and forth. It's Pearson 1 lap and Orman the next. Ike in 3rd, patiently waiting. Look back in, we can see Max Wolf rooting for Mark. Imagine Mark Hutchinson. So Mark, give you a little bit of extra screen time from Northern Ireland. Brought your own fan club. We appreciate that, Mark. You can see there P2 at Petite Le Mans and Indy 500. So Mark now challenging for 8th. He's lost a couple of spots today, but again, the up and down of the caution, some of that you just don't really have any control. As we can see, a driver having an issue in the back. It was Mark Johnston. There it is. Johnston spun and pulls it to the inside onto the grass. And that's going to do it for Mark. He's jumped back to the pits. So we go back to the live shot up forward. That's too bad for Johnston. He was on the lead lap. Now it's fallen off. Also of note, because of that speeding penalty, Thomas Christensen also falling off the lead lap. So a lap down. If we were to have a caution, he would be the first car a lap down, but I don't believe these other cars are going to pit. So that probably will keep him a lap down. And so this race is truly what you see is what you get. It's Jesper Orman in the beautiful number 2 gold and black machine for Three Crowns Racing with IAR. In the front with Connor Pearson not very far behind, racing for Wyvern Racing, 23-year-old out of Peterborough. And now up into the lead. Third place, Andreas Eick. Racing for Team Talon, Andreas here just hanging on, trying to find the moment when to make his move. We've got under 10 to go. It's actually 9 to go here. You can just see Orman and Pearson just swapping back and forth here at the front of this field. Pretty exciting stuff as we get down to 8 laps to go. See another battle happening a little bit further back as Thomas Klessens, who was just up at the front, battling back here for 9th place, up 4 spots today, but battling with Sam Blackwood just behind, and Mark Hutchinson just in front. These drivers doing everything they can to claw back the last few positions that they can, get the most amount of points out of the race. Final driver here in 10th place, Philip Lee. As you can see there, it doesn't quite fit on the screen, but Corinthian Vintage Auto Racing champ, 1963 Triumph TR4. So with some great real-life racing experience and bringing that over into the sim racing world, we're so happy to have. As I mentioned before, it's my thrill. I was contacted to potentially do the broadcasting for this, and it being season 1, a lot of times you're trying to find out what kind of talent they're going to have. But imagine my surprise, my teammate Christian Balkarek finding this great group. And it's fantastic talent from all over the world, as you can see. 6 laps to go, and we've got, was that Mark Hutchinson? It was. Unfortunately, the Hutchinson fan club will not be happy with that result. It's just truly commentator's curse, and I'm very sorry for that. So we see Hutchinson here just getting loose. It just got loose in front. There was, unfortunately for Hutchinson, yeah, it did not go well.
Yellow.
So we did go yellow. I don't... Oh, it's Connor Pearson who has crashed. While we were watching that, what has happened? It had nothing to do... We'll go take a look. They were battling for position. Joined just a little late there. You can see Mr. Pearson taking a heck of a ride. We're gonna back it straight up. It looks like he just pushes up out of the corner. Really, really pushes up. Has to take his foot out considerably. We're gonna go back just one more time. See if we can go a little bit further back and see if there was something that maybe premeditated that. Did it get checked up just in front? Seems like he was racing hard going into the corner. Let's watch this full speed, see if we can tell. Backs up a little bit. I think the aero push just got him. And it looks like he got nerfed a little bit from behind as well. I don't know if that was Will Lyon. I'm not sure who did. And then someone else, unfortunately, tagged Mr. Pearson. And that truly unfortunate because we had such an epic battle for the finish happening. Seems like on VirtualRacing.Network happens more often than not. We have an epic battle emanating for the win, and doesn't quite happen that way, but that's part of what you go through when you're racing. Sometimes you're racing right there. You've been racing at the front all day long in first. Pearson challenging and finding his way up into first, and then in that moment had slid back to third, was trying to align himself, and I think the draft just finally got a little bit too much to Pearson, and he drifted up the track, perhaps kept his foot in it maybe a little too much. I can't even begin to say, but usually it's when you leave your foot in it a little too much, trying to keep the speed, stay right up the front of the car behind, or in front of you, and that push causes you to go up the track, and then you back out more and put more steering angle into it to try to keep it off the wall or keep it off another driver, and usually those lead to problems. Either you clip the outside driver, or you clip the outside wall, or it spins around on you. So as you can tell, I've made that mistake many times. Proud to say I bring that level of quality experience. If you want to know how to crash one of these IR 18 Indy cars, I am the person to do it, to give you that story information. So Hutchinson left the pits. He is shown 2 laps down now. So for the Mark Hutchinson fan club, we are sorry to inform you of that, but he's still racing. In the YouTube chat room, 21 of you now in the chat. Appreciate it. Great to have you joining us from everywhere around the globe. It's awesome. I'm out here on the west coast of the United States, so even cooler that I'm so far away from so many competitors, but still get a chance to see everything live and make these calls for you guys and ladies over in the chat room. And yeah, you just have to adapt. I mean, this is one of those things. Sometimes you're up at the front like Pearson, and then water bottles on the track, as Max Wolf says. You know, you really don't know. Sometimes it's just the smallest of things that throws you sideways, or you react to somebody in front, and it's just enough to take you out. And then as another racer, you're gearing up. I'm sure these drivers were really thinking, okay, 5 to go, 4 to go, 3 to go. What do I want to do? Where do I want to be? And yet goes yellow, and so this completely changes it. We're going to go green for 1 lap. Connor Pearson, it says, has left the pits, so he's 2 laps down. So he will not be able to challenge for the lead. So this is your running order. Your top 10, and the top 10 are the ones on the lead lap. Orman, no surprise there. Your leader, he started first. He's currently running in first. Here's some drivers burning off some excess fuel there. Andreas Eich in second. He's been strong all day today, right up at the front, very patiently waiting. David Soranzo in third, having an excellent day. Again, very patient. Will Lyon in fourth. If he can get it together for the end of this stint, I think we're going to see Will Lyon right up there challenging for the lead. Tim Miller in fifth. Magnus Anderson in sixth. Thomas Klessens in seventh. We get going into turn 3 and wait for that pace car to pull off. See if we can watch this. David Soranzo's point of view. Take you right into the action. With 1 to go, you've got 1 lap to make the passes you need to take this checker.
Green flag, green flag.
And it's Jesper Orman to the lead. Sam Blackwood passing Thomas Klessens, we're getting a note. Orman pulling out a little bit of a gap. Soranzo on the back of Ike, but not close enough. Lyon and Miller just off screen there. You see it quite jumbled up further back. We're going to stay on this battle as Ike in the lead on the outside, but Orman back to the inside as they go through 3. Coming through turn 4, it's Orman to the inside. Ike tries the outside, can't get it done. Soranzo makes his attempt to go to the outside. Orman almost hits the attenuator down the front stretch, and it's Orman with the win by a nose, by a fraction of an inch. Orman taking your victory by a fraction of an inch over Andreas Ike. And David Soranzo in 3rd. Will Lyon ends up in 4th. And Tim Miller in 5th. Sam Blackwood, 6th place. Magnus Anderson, 7th. And Alex Salmon in 8th. Thomas Klessens, 9th. And Philip Lee rounds out the top 10. What an amazing finish that was. I really thought Andreas Ike had done it. It was incredibly close, and we'll go back and take a look here in a moment as we see Jesper Orman making his way down towards the start-finish line. A special moment for Jesper, as he can now claim a brand new highlight to his iRacing career. Winner of the Indianapolis 250. The PMRL Season 1 Round 4. Some donuts, and I guess the crew's going to have to do a little extra work now with the end of that one. So let's go back and watch it one more time. Go back and watch the white flag as soon as we can. Software not really wanting to participate. Here we go. So from the white flag, it was Jesper Orman leading us back, Andreas Ike in 2nd. We'll watch from Andreas Ike's point of view the entire last lap. And our eventual winner, Jesper Orman, just in front. See Ike making his move to the outside. Not quite able to get it done there. And Orman's still not back on the picture. Really tough to see. That was so close. I can't even believe it. It was so close. I couldn't even get a shot of it. We'll see if we could back it up to the start-finish line. See just how close this finish was. There, they've just gone past, so we'll go one more time, see if we can get it to stop. There is your finish. That is absolutely as photo finish as it gets. Officially, the gap 0.00 seconds. Let's see if we can go back to the live picture. We'll see if we can bring up the final running order, and perhaps we'll get a final declaration of the finish. There it is, 2/1000ths of a second. Your gap: Jesper Orman over Andreas Ike, David Soranzo in 3rd, Will Lyon in 4th, Tim Miller in 5th. What an amazing finish that was. Congratulations to those competitors. And so we'll be looking to get them into the broadcast booth momentarily. We'll be able to have a chat with them. Hoping to get someone over into the broadcast room. I see that Jesper Orman has just stumbled in, is having a cool drink of water while he gets ready. Definitely hoping to get possibly either Andreas Ike or David Soranzo. Definitely, if you're in the race, stop over into the Discord room and talk to us over in the broadcast room. So we'll go ahead and start with our winner, who is in the room. It's Jesper Orman. And Jesper, can you hear me over there?
I can hear you, Trevor.
Awesome. What a hell of a finish. Congratulations. That was so exciting. How was it from your seat?
Yeah, man, that was very, very exciting there in the end. I was a bit bummed that the yellow came out there, but, you got to do what you got to do. And to be honest, I felt like this was I deserved this one because I lost out back in May by 1,000 of a second. So this time was my turn. So it is, as they say, this track chooses the winner. The winner doesn't. It's so hard to win here. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely, so hard to win, and so much luck and strategy going into this. But of course, you were dynamic in this race. You of course were able to overcome being at a different pit strategy than the leaders at the time, not really knowing how this was going to work out with the yellows. How did it work out for you? Were you planning on maybe it going green flag a long ways? Were you just staying adaptive as you went along? Did you have any particular strategy for today's race?
I think I changed my plan like 5 times because there were so many key moments where the yellow came out exactly where there was a split strategy. But there was a yellow came out like with 60 to go, and a stint here is like 30 laps. So I decided to go in, and together with me came Andreas and Thomas and David. So I thought we had a good chance because if the yellow was going to come out again, we would cycle up to the front. So sure. I felt very very secure with that call in that moment. And then we had that long green run. That was fun. And the plan was that I was going to pit together with my teammate Thomas. Unfortunately, he had a penalty there. So, and then the yellow came out. So, yeah.
He did have that penalty, and that was really the only thing that cost him. It kind of looked like it was going to be you and Christensen and Ike battling for the lead there. But he dropped away. Were you just kind of holding... Did you really want to be out in front? Were you trying to control the clean air? Because we saw you swap drafting with several different drivers. Were you okay to run in second, or were you just really trying to get out in front and control the front?
Yeah, well, when the track is so cold as it now, it's better it's easier to just swap with first and second, because that means that you can keep your track position much easier, because the guy in third, he's gonna have some trouble getting past, so
right.
So that was all about track position. And I figured like with 30-20 to go, I wanted to be first or second. That's the position to be when it's 20 to go.
Well, you also almost had a challenge coming from Connor Pearson. This red car was coming up in your mirrors, and he had been so fast challenging his way through the field. Of course, he had passed you. You guys were having a great battle. And then just a few laps before the end, of course, as we're watching on screen, Connor Pearson, it looked like he was going to challenge you, and then he just dropped away. So what was your thoughts as you see him in your mirrors just dropping back and dropping? Were you relieved at that point? No challenge from him, at least?
Well, it all happened so fast because there was a key moment there when it was like 15 to go, 10 to go, and we came up to that lap car, and I really wanted to be first at that point to pass that lap car to see if I could get away a little bit, and then it piled up a little bit there, and I think that that lap car, he could easily keep up with us. So I think he got mixed up with a front battle, and I think that maybe Connor misjudged a little bit and maybe slid into the wall or something.
I see that.
So that was unfortunate, but it's so difficult to get everything right at this track.
Well, you managed to do it. You did get it right. What was your final thoughts So as we're looking at that final lap, you're battling there with Andreas Eick, which of course, you've done that many times in many occasions. It seems like almost every time I'm watching an Indy Road Open race and you guys are in it, you're battling for the lead. So what is your thought here as we're watching live on screen? You've got Eick behind you. You managed to get a little bit of a gap on him, but then he's coming up from behind. Are you thinking I'm going to stay to the inside and hold it? And then as you get to turn 4, you decide to go all the way down to the attenuator in the pits.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how big the draft would be there, would want to go. I just assumed that both Andreas and David was going to fly past me. So I was honestly preparing for a big run off of turn 4. But yeah, I got a good run off the line. And when I saw that the draft wasn't that big that I thought it would be, I'm going to stick to the inside here. And out of turn 4, I just didn't want to give Andreas any air at all. I don't know if that cost me or if it actually worked for me. But hey, I won, so that was fun.
You got it indeed, and Andreas second. You'll obviously do your championship hopes. Some great things, as we saw Salmon and a number of other drivers that are doing well drop back. Magnus Anderson choosing to drop off of your initial pit strategy. He also having a little bit of issues, ending up back in 7th place at the end. So, what are you thinking as we go forward? And let's pull up the schedule on the screen. This was, of course, Indy, great oval, but next week it's something totally different. We've got the Belle Isle at Detroit, totally different track, street course, with different strategy. How do you feel going forward into Belle Isle?
Oh, yeah. Well, as you may know, I'm a bit of mainly an oval driver. So this is the events where I can shine a little bit in this league, because everybody is so fast in this league. I didn't expect everyone to be so damn fast. So I'm just trying to keep up, and I'm trying to improve on the road side as well. So, and Detroit, I've just recently bought the track, but I've never done a lap there. So I'm gonna have to practice.
Well, fortunately, you've got some great teammates at Three Crown who have a lot of experience and are quite good on road courses. And I know they've done well against me when I was racing at Detroit. So I'm sure your team will be able to step up for you. Nevertheless, great moment to savor a new iRacing highlight. Victorious here at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And congratulations on taking round 4 straight from pole. So we missed that on screen, but you pole to checkered flag, almost impossible to do at Indy, but you did it. So congratulations, Jesper.
Thanks, Trevor.
Well, there you heard it. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. And of course, thanks to Jesper for joining us in the post-race chat. We'll try to make sure that we get as many of the drivers with us in the post-race chat afterwards for the future. In the meantime, it has been an absolute blast covering this with you. I hope you enjoyed it out there in YouTube land, as well as watching this afterwards. But make sure to join us live again next time for Detroit, Belle Isle. This will be next Wednesday. Check your scheduling for more details. Again, Trevor Greenfield signing off here for VirtualRacing.Network. This has been round 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval. It was a pleasure to bring you this broadcast, and Jesper Orman, your ultimate winner, with Andreas Eick and David Soranzo, the rest of the podium. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next week from Detroit, Music City, Motor City. Make sure to tune in for that one. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.